Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amore Love and I'm going to be showing you how to take this wig from long, blonde, and uncustomized to this beautiful midnight blue A-line bob. The first thing we're going to start off with is the Joico Color Intensity colors, and I'm going to be using Sapphire Blue, and here I have 5, but I ended up needing to go to the store and get another one, so it's about 6 tubes for this look. Of course, you're going to need your gloves, and this is 2 bundles and a frontal and 14 inches from amore.mayvenn.com. The link is in the description box if you want to purchase this hair and do this exact same look. So first, I always start off doing a U shape, and I'm just going to be starting off with 2 rows of hair at a time. And we're going to leave the frontal out because we don't want to color the frontal just yet. We want to focus all of our time and energy on the frontal and just the frontal. So starting off, I'm going to take 2 rows, and I'm going to be starting at just the roots and fully saturating the hair and mushing it together with my thumbs to make sure every strand is fully saturated. And then I'm going to take my brush and add more color to the mids and ends. And you really want to make sure you're being very generous with your color because you don't want any highlights or missing spots or streaks in the hair color. You want it to be as flat and seamless as possible with the color application. So being generous, combing through your sections and really massaging that color in and making sure the color is on all of the strands. It's so important because you may think that you have it, but then when you go to rinse it out, you notice that something is missing. And the more effort you put into it while you're coloring, the less headache it will be when you rinse it all out and notice that it's not exactly perfect. So with that in mind, just remember, fully saturate the hair, massage the color in the hair, and comb your section through to see if there's any missing patches. Just pretend you're a nosy detective and you're really trying to make sure every hair strand has equal amounts of color on it. So I'm going to start by sectioning off, and I'm literally going to do this all the way up the head without coloring the frontal. We're going to leave the frontal to last, and I'll show you guys how I do that in a bit. So just continue this process and work your way all the way up, and I will just finish that up and show you guys as I'm done. So boom, the color is done, and now it's time to focus fully on the frontal. With the frontal, you want to make sure that you are protecting the lace of the frontal. It's really hard to not get color on the frontal lace, so you want to make sure you're protecting the lace underneath the frontal. So the same way you would bleach the knots, I basically use a very thick layer of got to be glue gel, and I let it dry completely all the way dry until the frontal is just crispy, dry, and fully slathered in got to be gel. Then, to further ensure that you don't get color all over your lace and have a completely blue scalp, you want to start off doing thin sections and holding the section outward and not applying down on the lace. You want to hold the section out and literally just apply to the hair as you would apply your mascara. So put the brush straight forward and not straight down on the lace. Then I like to use my thumb to massage the color in because at the base of the section it's really hard to get all of the strands, and you really don't want to miss any spots, especially when the hair is blonde. When the hair is blonde to start with, if you miss any spots, it's going to look like you have over bleached knots when you never bleached them to begin with. So be sure to massage it with your fingers, but also to be careful to not get color on the lace. Then I like to take the comb and the fine tooth section of the comb and really comb close up to the root area, and that's going to help you spread your color out without getting color on the lace. So two things: massaging it with your thumbs just to smooth it on everything, then taking the comb on the fine tooth side to really spread that color out. When you get those little clumps at the roots, that might actually go down on the lace and ruin everything. Even though you protect the lace, you really want to make sure you try your hardest to not get any color on the lace in the first place, just to protect yourself. You do not want to be walking around with a blue scalp, nor do you want to be walking around with a look that looks like you over bleached your knots. So I'm going to zoom in and show you guys. Here's a closer look. As you can see, I'm holding the section out and I'm using my fingers to massage it in at the roots, but not touching down on the lace. And then use your comb to spread out those big old gunks, just to evenly saturate it on the hair. Then just work your way down the rest of the section. So I'm going to continue doing this all the way across the frontal, except I'm going to stop halfway and then turn the frontal around and work on the other side. So this is how much hair I had left when I completely ran out of color. I had to go back to Cosmoprof and get one more bottle of the Sapphire Blue Joico Color Intensity. So now you'll be able to see a little bit more closer on how I massage it with my fingers and how I hold the section outward and paint on the color towards the section and not on top of the section on the lace. Lifting it up, making sure you're getting underneath, because it is necessary to lift up the section and apply color on both sides, and massage it in, and using the fine tooth part of the comb just to spread those gunks out at the top of the section. Because if you lay it down with the gunks in it, most likely the gunks are going to get on the lace and you're going to have a blue spot on your lace, and you don't want a blue spot. So now that the color is all the way on, I'm just going to take whatever color is left in my bowl and apply it on all of the hair. Just to be on the safe side, I'm going to apply all the leftover color onto the rest of the hair because it was just going to go down the sink anyway. So apply it all over the hair and let the color sit. If you have time, you can leave it for really as long as you want, but at least I would say, just to make sure it's fully saturated, if you're in a crunch, at least do like 45 minutes to an hour if you can. After I did this, I rinsed out the color and I let the hair air dry. This is the hair air dried and combed through, and I lightly fluffed it as it was air drying. This hair has absolutely no product on it, so I'm just going to go ahead and straighten it to prepare it for the bob. And this is the hair straight. And to start off cutting the hair, I actually like to use my clippers. If you guys didn't see my other video on how to cut a bob in 10 minutes, then this is basically the same exact technique I used, except for this wig I'm actually doing an A-line bob instead of a regular long bob. So to start off my guide, I'm going to be cutting my shortest piece of hair with the thing straight across, and I'm just going to use my comb as a guide to get that nice angle for my A-line. So following that, I'm just going to go right on down, and it's going to create a really sharp, crisp line for you. And the hardest thing is just to mimic it on the other side. It's really not that hard. All you have to do is really look and pay attention. Boom, super sharp. So now I'm going to complete the other side. And if you want, you could stop here, but that's just not me. I like to really make sure everything is fine-tuned. So this is crisp, but however, when you put it on, it's going to be really thick on the sides and the back because that's where the hair was folded over the most while you're making the wig. I'm going to take my flat iron and just to bump it in the direction that I like, and that'll help the flow of the hair while you just fine tune the rest. Then I'll take my swivel thumb shears that I got from Hizori Shears. I think that's what it's called. If I can find the link, I'll put it in the description. And I'm just gonna point cut straight up into these sections. I'm not gonna turn my scissors diagonal or flat. They're literally going straight up into the hair just to release some of that bulk, because you don't want it to be too chunky on the sides and the back, because the frontal area is not that chunky, and you want to have a really nice natural flow of the hair. So once I'm done with point cutting, then I'll lean the hair back and use my razor comb, and I'm just holding the hair flat in my hand and going along the inside of the bob closest to the neck, just to kind of softly feather some of that weight out of the hair because it really is bulky on the sides and the back. and then go ahead and bump it one more time, give it that last final touch, and this is the final look. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching this tutorial. If you have other tutorials you would like me to do, please let me know, and I am totally down for that. I'll also be doing more makeup and get to know me's and some story times for you guys, so make sure you subscribe to keep up to date on all of my content. Thank you so much for watching, and I will definitely see you guys in the next video.